do really do in real estate, but you know, trying to help people connect with other people is very important to me. And if they're successful, that's really important to me,
I'm gonna
especially
Yoda,
now.
I'm gonna Yoda you with Yoda you, which says that there's no try. You're already doing it.
Okay. Hey, by the way, I tried to go into the Kahoot it, and it asked me for something that I didn't have a
Oh,
code or
sorry.
something.
Yeah, go to Kahoot.com first, and then because then you can design a game. I apologize. Kahoot.it is the game player site. So
Oh, okay. But I didn't want to design a game. I wanted to use one of your
yeah,
existing. Is that where it
yeah,
is?
yeah. You got to log
Okay.
in, but I think mine is shared, and if you stay on the call afterwards, I'll show you where it is. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe even play a game. All right. It is high noon, and I just want to remind you that we're actually recording this call, and it is being put on Facebook Live. So we'll have some other people join us. But you who are here are really the stars, and that's what's really happening. You are here for a session of virtual team building, and I'm going to share my screen now. Hold on one second. Oh, there we go. And let's see. I'm actually using a new dual screen setup, so this should be very interesting. So this is, of course, a PowerPoint deck, and one of the features you're seeing now is that Microsoft PowerPoint has a feature to actually do inline dictation. And so one of the nice parts or interesting parts around virtual team building is allowing people to participate with all the different versions of interaction that they have. In this case, instead of it maybe being sight enabled or hearing disabled or other types of things, some people may now have challenges with low bandwidth, right? Or they might be calling in by phone. So they might be participating at different levels. And so sometimes using these types of captions on a PowerPoint slide can actually be very helpful. You'll be surprised about how well this transcription or audio translation goes on the screen, and so it's a nice feature to have here. Again, in this session, you guys are here to learn about virtual team building, and my goal is in this next hour is to give you some kind of tips for working at home better and other types of challenges that you're probably experiencing now. So I'm going to go into just a few pieces. These are the common elements of team challenges with teams, and my favorite part is this: is that these challenges existed pre-corona, but sometimes they just get worse post-corona. And so these are challenges I want you to think about as you go along, and I have some fun statistics that go along with it. Communication. So communication and trust to me are two foundations of teamwork, and it turns out that in a statistic we got, only 5.9% of companies communicate their goals daily. Now, in this work from home environment, it is very easy for you if you want to tune out and not really know what's going on. You could be working on things that are not strategic. Even on the call today, we were just wondering what work can some people do from home that where they were used to doing it at their location or their office. If you want to be one of the best companies, the top 64%, the one thing you have to do is just start every day with an email and tell people what goal you as a collection as a team are working on, and add maybe just like what happened yesterday that really helped it. If you do that, you can really be in this top percentage of people who's communicating now. The next fact here is around collaboration. 39% of surveyed employees believe that people in their own organization don't collaborate enough. And it's funny now in post-corona land or corona land is that sometimes the collaboration is harder because you're not bumping into each other. What I like to say is I used to work at Microsoft for a decade, and that the original buildings were built in an X. And in the middle of the X's was the restrooms and the copy room and the receptionist. And that made everybody come from their office and walk to the center, and they would bump into each other. And I recognize this, that bumping into each other is where a lot of real work gets done. This is why face-to-face in offices is still so valuable. Now, if you're online, you have to create new ways of bumping into each other. And those are like the chat rooms or like Slack. People are saying, let me Slack this person, right? It's turned into a verb. And that instant communication with people is the way that people bump into saying, oh, I know this person has this answer. Let me see if I can get it right now. So look for tools that help you collaborate. The other side I was going to share with this is it's amazing now that now is a time where collaboration is really possible. For me, I've gotten a chance to collaborate with a lot of different people, and mainly because their schedule is clear. They have nothing else they're working on. My friends from Taiwan, they gave me a quote and they said, delivery is the biggest challenge to collaboration and creativity. I'll say it again. Delivery is the biggest challenge to creativity and collaboration. And that's because when we're so busy delivering, we have to tell people, nope, sorry, that's a great idea, but I can't do it. And so now is actually an interesting time for collaboration. So if you're leaders and you're looking for people for things to do, look how two people can collaborate and create some new resource that really serves your clientele. The next one is alignment. 97% of employees and executives believe that lack of alignment within a team impacts the outcome of a task or project. I can tell you this, I run a team building event. Remember when we used to meet face to face and do team building where we touched each other? And so when we did that, I had a program that had two goals at the same time. Teams were competing with each other, and teams also had to collaborate to achieve to finish every mission together as a company. And in the last 6 years, no team has scored the highest score. You have to collaborate at a very high level to do this. And let me tell you, I think people are getting worse about alignment and company collaboration, right? It's a company, team, and personal alignment. But if you can do this, if you can get alignment in your team, I believe you can come through Corona with like having one of the strongest teams creating the biggest results. So alignment. And of course, the last one I think we're all very familiar with as we do this. It's work from home is mandated, right? Here, I think we heard our president says it's going to go on to April 30th easily. So again, the date is March 30th. So we got at least another month of this. And I know it's two of my earlier guests came on and said, we're at day 10 or day 14 and we're having challenges. Well, imagine when it gets to day 45. And so what you're here is I'm here to help you with some tips around this. So those are the challenges. So here's my proposed solution for this. And I have 4 easy initials, hopefully that you will remember for this. There is a test at the end, but it's really made around fun. I won't go down on your permanent record. My solution is kind of how I felt when this whole coronavirus thing went down, which is I had 10 programs postponed and or canceled. And so this is how I really felt. Grr, right? Grrr, grr. So that's my solution, right? So how I felt turned into my solution. And so what do those letters stand for? Here we go. The G stands for goals. And so for goals, it's really about aligning your goals. It's so easy on the virtual teams to think that you all have the same goal. But once you start operating on it, you guys actually have like many different ideas for your goals. So the number one thing is make sure that your team agrees upon a new goal if necessary, and that everybody is aligned to that goal. The next one is rules. So we've had the largest disruption to date. And so we all know the rules of meeting face to face or going to offices or day to day. But as we meet here online, there's a whole new set of rules. And if you want to be a leader inside of this, then you should help define what the online rules are so that we can be effective. And I'll give you an example of that. The next one is rhythm. You again with disruption, imagine like in the middle of a music concert, right? The stage falls down or blows up or a loud sound happens and it breaks everybody's rhythm. This band, and which means your team, has to establish a new rhythm. And once you establish a new rhythm like this is actually a Japanese drill team. You can have amazing thing happen when you get your team back into rhythm. It's something critical that you really need to help your team establish. And if you have those 3 things, goals, rules, and rhythm, you get results. You should look for any sign of results. You should celebrate anything that your team can do together in this new environment and celebrate, again, celebrate those results, because once you look at what results you're getting, you can build upon it and make better and better and better results. So I'm a huge car fan, and last year I became the owner of a Porsche Boxster, which is sitting in my garage right now. But I'm also watching all the F1 series on Netflix, which I really love. And this is what happens when your goals are aligned, when you have known rules, right, and your team has a rhythm. You can do this, which is over 20 people being able to change all four tires, gas up a car, and do many other things in under 2 seconds. Those are the kind of results I would like you to have on your team. And so let's figure out how we're going to do that. So I believe that for this meeting, that my goal is to help you host a productive team meeting and establish the best team practices online. So that's the goals that I have. And if you have other goals, feel free to share them in just a minute. So the first team building initiative I'm going to share with you is called Go Ahead Caller. So again, if I see a few of us on here, if you do have cameras, please turn it on. It's going to be a huge win. And if you aren't camera ready yet, okay, that's fine. But I'm going to show you the advantage for that. If you called in by phone, if you do have an opportunity to go to a computer, go ahead and click onto the link and you'll see the video. And if you don't have the chance to do that, that's okay too. So in Go Ahead Caller, right, what we're going to do is, this is from my time. First off, it's in a face-to-face meeting. You can have sidebar conversations sometimes, and sometimes that's productive. But here in video land, it's much more difficult. Everybody's voice is the same. And so if Jay and Myrna start having a sidebar conversation, you can't hear anything, right? If Gretchen's dog starts barking, right, that comes straight through the meeting. We've already seen the online examples for it. So you got to do a little bit of air traffic control. So this is backwards to my dream of one day when I wanted to be a radio disc jockey. And so, Myrna would call in and say, hey, this is Myrna from New York. And I would say, go ahead, Myrna. So that's really what you do, is you establish somebody who will be the facilitative leader for this. So this helps establish the first set of online rules. I'm going to establish a speaking rule. So if you're visual, you can raise your hand if you want to talk. If not, you can chat. If you hit the chat line, I can see it. Or you can unmute and say your name. So I will acknowledge that and then establish a speaking order, and we'll go ahead and do that. So when you when you're about to introduce yourself, say your name, where you're calling in from, and some unique challenge or something that you're going on with one of your teams. So for instance, if I got called, I'd say, hey, this is John. And I'd say, go ahead, John. My name is John Chen. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And one of the team challenges that I have is that I have to facilitate 5 of these classes for a week. How do I manage that? So that might be an example for that. So I'm going to stop share now. Excellent. And now let's go ahead and let's find out who's online with us. So who would like to go first? Let's go to Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say good morning, but I guess it's good afternoon here in the Puget Sound area. My name is Jay Cicados. I'm a local real estate broker. And my challenge is basically how to stay connected without being able to actually meet with clients all the time. And but more than that, it's really to help them feel confident in what's going on in the market.
Confidence. Excellent, Jay. That's an interesting one. Giving confidence in a real estate market when it seems obviously less people are buying. So thank you so much for that, Jay. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Dina in New York. Go ahead, Dina.
Hello, I'm Dina from West Nyack Library in New York, and I'm a circulation manager. I have a staff of 15 people, and right now everyone is very high-strung and nervous about working from home and managing the technology. So I have basically 15 people screaming at me at once via email, text, and phone calls all day. So I'm already spent, and like you said, we're in early days still.
Thank you so much for that, Dina. And maybe now all you got to do is tell your staff to stop using all capitals, and then they'll stop screaming at you. Thank you so much, Dina. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Cesar. Cesar actually logged in early too. I appreciate that, Cesar. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, Cesar. So my name is Cesar Camara. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I have a team of 18 people. I'm a sourcing lead coach for GE Steam Power. And my biggest challenge is to have everything engaged, motivated, and connected through this bunch of weeks that we have ahead of.
Thank you so much, Cesar. So great for calling in Mexico. By the way, we've had people call in from Hungary, Slovakia, Ireland, Australia. So hola, thank you so much. And I'm going to add a little more here, Cesar. You said you want everything engaged and motivated. Can you give me an example of what's happening now when it's not?
Well, I haven't had any problems yet because they have been working remotely for 2 weeks.
Yep.
But it looks like we're gonna be like this for at least, I don't know, 6 more weeks. So I'm worried about it that by week 4, everyone's gonna be like fed up. So yeah.
Yes, Cesar, this is adept that you're thinking ahead. That's awesome that you're not having any problems yet. And you're right on the money about there being future challenges. So I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, who else would like to go? Let's go to Stacy. Go ahead, Stacy.
Hi, my name's Stacy, and I'm working from Portland, Oregon. I am supervisor of an access services department at Portland Community College. And the biggest challenge I'm facing right now is trying to help staff transition to working remotely when that's not something that they've ever done before. And so how do we all move that way? I've done it off and on as needed in my role, but the staff that I directly support haven't done it in the past.
That's a key challenge. And so the funny part is I wrote this book, right? And I've been actually doing virtual team building for 20 years. I was one of the first to bring webcams to an Association of Experiential Education meeting. And when people would just tell stories to each other over video, we actually researched and saw that you can increase the trust between those two people by 20% or more in a half hour. For those who've never been here, imagine how disorienting it must be, all right? It must be like traveling to another country that you have no idea about the culture. Stacy, do you have like one example that you might be able to share us of a challenge without sharing a name?
Just in general, like moving from the in-person interactions with students that we would have at the circulation desk to now working on projects specifically and trying to manage meetings online. Like we've done meetings off and on online for, ever since I've been there, but there's always been the opportunity to then meet up with someone afterwards and discuss something or work through a physical process together. And a lot of what we do is based on physical movement of items. So it's kind of a brand new world for everybody.
Got it. Thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate that. Let's see. I'm going to call some people now who I can't see any visuals for. M. Rosenda. M. Rosenda, are you there?
Yeah, my name is Matt, and I'm here.
Are you Matt Rosendahl?
That's me.
Excellent. Why don't you tell me where you're calling in from and tell me a team challenge that you might be having.
All right. Sorry I called in a little bit late because I had a meeting that went a little long before this. I'm calling from Minnesota, and I am a library director, and just wanting to make sure that our teams are feeling a little bit of balance in their workload and in their connection with each other. And that can be hard to accomplish for those folks who, up until 2 weeks ago, their work was primarily physical based. And those who maybe had been doing more work that lent itself to working online, such as librarians who teach and do more work in online education already. So trying to maintain balance in communication and balance in some workload or work equity.
Excellent. Well, you got some other library people on here and talk about crazy things. I mean, this is how this class has really grown, is that I really have to thank my friend Jennifer Clifton, who posted this in Library Journal. Many of you are here because of her, and she actually finally attended a class. I got to thank her face to face. She's really made a big difference in my life. So thank you, Matt, for joining. You have lots of other librarians. Oh, good. You got your camera on too. Appreciate that. Let's see. Let's go to Stacy. Stacy, are you on the line?
Yes, hi, this is Stacy Kessel. I work for an insurance company in Seattle, Washington. And I have a finance group of about 40 people. And we've had a very strongly engaged group and very positive employee morale. So I'm concerned now with this new environment where everyone's working from home, how we maintain that. And so a lot of what we've done is team building activities that they've just really done themselves. We have, a fundraising event for some sort of charity. We'd have, come on, we're finance. So we had a W-2 party to have everybody come pick up their W-2s, right? And we'd have little games and stuff. But it's something that the team just is really great about doing those kinds of things together. And so now being all, in their own homes, how do I engage that positivity and that engagement with the group?
Excellent. Thank you for joining in. I know I love this. They said, how did you hear about this? And they go, my boss. So thank you. I know a bunch of other people from chpw.org are going to join us. So I appreciate your company sharing that information. So let's go to our last person. Hopefully she's online. Is Gretchen there?
Yes, hi, I'm here. My name's Gretchen. I'm also a library person. I'm the director of a small public library in a rural part of Connecticut. My challenge is we have a staff of only 8 people. We are completely closed for physical services. We're only delivering virtual services, digital services right now. So only 3 of us are working from home. The other 5, I'm trying to keep engaged, doing a lot of professional development. They're all very part-time employees, so I'm trying to set some requirements, what they can do with their time. And it's hard to keep people engaged that way.
It is a challenge, definitely. So thank you for calling in. Again, you got lots of library people, and I believe, Matt, you said you were calling in from Minnesota, right?
Correct.
So my daughter is now home, but she is soon to be a graduate of McAllister, even though they're not having a graduation. Sad face. So.
Sorry for your daughter and you. McAllister's a great institution.
Thank you very much. I got a chance to visit her there. And I've also got a chance to do a work in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. So with Memorial Health. So Andrea, thank you for joining. Andrea, we are introducing your name, your location, and what kind of team challenge you're having. And man, you got to talk about some of this art in your house.
Oh, yeah, I know. I saw one of those pie charts where it was like, and people usually spend about 10% of the time during a Zoom meeting looking at people's houses. So I'm Andrea. I'm from Wilton. I work at the Wilton Library, the public library. And the stuff in my house behind me is, let's see, this is a flag that my husband got when he left the military. These are beer steins. These are plants. This is Conan the Barbarian's helmet, which is my husband's favorite movie. And there's a dog on the floor, but you can't see him. Oh, and this is the Aristocats. It's an original lithograph. We're there.
So are you related then to Gretchen?
To Gretchen?
Yeah, Gretchen is also in Connecticut. Did I got the right Connecticut? This is Wilton, Connecticut.
No,
right?
no. Connecticut's not that small.
Oh my.
No, it's small, but not that small.
Okay, great. Anyway, so that's great. You have another friend from Connecticut on the line. So thank you, Andrea. You might have the best part of that. Was it, you said Conan? What's Conan the Barbarian? Oh my God, Conan the Barbarian. So 2 pieces to that too is if you haven't figured out, right, your environment here, this is your new environment. And you should really think about this environment as much as possible. If you don't understand what's happening here, let me just show you a few things. I have lights on, right? I got 2 LED panels that I bought. They're only like 30, 40, 50 bucks from Amazon. Even if you can't get it at Amazon, I heard they're 30 days backed up. Put a light, right? I go to hotel rooms and I have a video conference. I take the shade off and I put 1 bulb in front of me and direct light yourself. The other way is also you can use the sunlight from a window. right? But make sure you don't go the other way, because if you put your back, right, and shoot through the window, you become a black silhouette, unless you're going for that effect, right? Which is like Call the Banker and that show with the, suitcasey thing. But, this environment really matters. And now the second thing that you want to do is like, look at your devices. So if you haven't figured this out, I'm using this is a pro mic here. This is an iRig HD mic, and I hooked it up by USB to my computer, and I forgot that I could do this. I actually owned it for recording videos on my phone. And if you hear, hopefully, my voice quality is probably slightly better than others. And this is something that really matters. You have to listen to somebody talk to a long time, man, you better make it good. So I actually use 2 speakers in my environment, because I don't like to use headphones in here, because if I have to wear headphones for eight hours, my ears actually technically start to hurt. So I like hearing you naturally as if you're here with me. And then this last piece here, 8 years ago, I started telling people about Skype design backdrops. So having this backdrop design where, like, look, it's convenient. My head fits here. No, I planned that. If you have a blank wall, this is a great place. A blank wall, and I put 6 objects in 3 stack pillars. You can do that. And of course, the CII 7 Plus here is showing us that you can use virtual backdrops. So I'm going to show you a trick. It's going to be very disorienting, but I'll show you why it works. You can now do video. And this is actually my 2019 in return video. So I could present like this. It might be highly distracting, so you might not do it. But in a happy hour, it's really fun, and it can do things like that. You could click your buttons in Zoom to figure that out. Okay, CII 7 Plus. What's your name? Where are you calling in from? And what team challenge are you having? Remember to unmute. Oh my gosh, it's John. Is it John Lowe? I love it.
Yes, it's John and Colleen.
Oh my God! Speaking to the real estate people in the house, John and Colleen Lowe are some of the top real estate agents from Southern California, and their favorite thing to do is go to Crystal Beach and broadcast live. I changed Colleen's life with technology. Colleen,
you're right there.
How I did that.
Yeah, you know what is so crazy? Before I met you, I was a technology phobe, right? It's crazy. And I was at Thatch's event, and wait, I gotta make sure how I get on here. Yeah, I was at Thatch's event, and I wanted to win that contest because it looked really cool. But I'm like, oh crap, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm like, I gotta go find that guy. And I walked out, and there you were. Wait, I don't know how to. Oh, there we are. And you showed me how to do it, and I won the contest.
Colleen won the contest, but what more importantly is that she has gotten comfortable with technology. She's launched her own podcast. She's a prolific Facebook liver who people come in and they see, oh my gosh, you used to see Crystal Cove with nobody on it. What an amazing site, right, Colleen?
Yeah, it's empty. It's been empty.
Awesome. Well, Colleen, make sure and try and log in with a computer to help you out here later. But I'm so glad you and John are here. So welcome. And so what I've just demonstrated to you here is a version of rules, which is one of the key things are here. This is an initiative called Go Ahead Caller to help you establish some speaking order with things that are going on here. So let's continue on. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing here in this, right? I've gotten a chance to engage everybody. One of the pieces here is that I've got, people have told me, it's like, oh my gosh, I was actually engaged the entire time for 60 whole minutes online. What a miracle. So let's continue to do that, all right? And all these things that I'm teaching are different ways for you to engage people, right? If you just present to people all the time, then you'll see that, that people will start to tune out at some point. If you engage them, then they'll really start to get these pieces here. So the next thing I'm going to teach you is the back channel chat. So what I'd like you to do is, the back channel chat is something I show people during almost all of my calls. And so, especially if somebody else or myself is presenting, I show people the chat window and I encourage them to use it when others are speaking. So for me, I'm kind of a type A extrovert, and I've got thoughts going all the time, kind of that creative thing. And so I go to the chat window. In fact, I chat in almost everybody else's meeting just to see if anyone else is paying attention. And quite often I make the best connections with not the speaker. It's like other people who are chatting around there. So that helps me as an extrovert. If you're one of those introverts, especially since we have a lot of library people on here, the chat room is also a great place to share your idea after you're listening. So you're consuming all this information, audio, visual, and you're trying to process it all. And if you get that insight, and quite often, I got to tell you in my team building events, introverts have the winning idea. And the way that you can share it is on the chat. You can see a lot of creativity and increased engagement. I can tell you, if I call somebody out, right, and they don't answer either on chat or they don't answer on video, they pay attention very, very quickly. So, so this is a back channel chat. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh wait, so we're gonna do this easy one. We're gonna go to the chat window. So I'm gonna stop share. We're just going to the chat window, and I would love just to do a little bit of chat networking. So if you can chat your LinkedIn profile or your company URL so we can learn a little bit about you, go ahead. So I am putting mine in now. And feel free to friend me. I'm at linkedin.com/CEO John Chen. So let's see if we can get everyone inside the chat window, make sure they can find it. If you can't find it, there's a little toolbar on the button on the bottom. For Colleen, I believe she's calling in on a phone. You have to tap a button and it will go to a separate window and it will allow you to chat. Andrea's done it and Gretchen has. Thank you so much. Gretchen and Stacy and Stacy. I love there's Stacy with an E and Stacy without an E. Who else? Oh, Andrea's. Oh, sorry, I got Andrea, Gretchen, Stacy, Stacy. Colleen says hello. Colleen, come on, you got to put your podcast or something on here. Come on. Don't make me make you. Jay says East Side Top Properties. I almost thought it said something else. East Side Top Properties is Jay. There we go. Colleen, yeah, no open houses. Thank you, Colleen. Yeah, but you have a podcast. Matt Rosendahl is at lib.d.umne.edu. Try saying that 5 times fast, Matt. Matt Cesar, ge.com/power. What a cool job you have, Cesar. At least, you know what, I said 2 things, man. I had a Zoom meltdown today, and I said, you want to see real panic? Wait till the internet, Zoom, or your power goes out. Okay. Colleen, of course, says her best phrase, her signature phrase is, miracles are my normal, and great things are happening to me every day. Dina says she works at the New York Library. Let's see, Dina. Okay, I think we got almost everybody. Let's see. Kurt is Kurt still on? No, Kurt is now actually off, right? Okay, that's good. Myrna, did I see you chat?
Yeah, it's there somewhere.
Thank you so much, Myrna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I think I got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I'm missing one. Who am I missing? So if you haven't chatted, just unmute your mic and say your name. I'm just trying to figure out who I'm missing. I think I got them all. Okay, I think we're good. And Jay asks, how do you deal with the overuse of Zoom channels and the connection is bad? Oh, Jay, this is a great one. Actually, it happened this morning. So one of the starts is you're trying to limit your bandwidth. So drop all your video. You ask everyone to drop video and you go to audio conference and you go back to old school. If that doesn't work, sometimes you got to drop to the phone. And then also, if you're trying to keep the connection together, right? So if you make people go somewhere else, you're probably going to lose a bunch of people. I would have a 3-stage plan. So like all training, right? You want a plan A and a plan B and a plan C. So A is video, right? B is audio, and C is everything happens in the chat room. So that's one of the ways to do it. Oh, thank you, Colleen. We got that here. All right. Let me just do one last check. Myrna, Caesar, Matt. Okay, I think I have everyone. All right, great. So now in the chat, I believe everyone has a usable chat channel, so thank you so much for that. I'm going to give you your first team building assignment. So I'm going to remind you about goals, rules, and results, right? And rhythm. And I just really want to give you an in-person example for this. So here is the assignment. The rules are, you guys have to chat A to Z one letter at a time. So as an example, Mirna cannot chat A, B, C, D, F, and try and hit return. One letter at a time. You cannot chat twice in a row. So that means if Colleen chats B, right, she cannot chat C. She has to let somebody else do it. You must restart if you missed a letter or if you repeat a letter. So if it goes A, B, C, C, you got to restart. And if you go A, B, D, you must also restart. While you're chatting A to Z, you can't talk. But if you missed a letter or you repeated a letter, you can talk. You can use the audio channel until somebody chats A to start again. Once you chat A, then you must be quiet. If you'd like, you can unmute your mic and anybody can ask me a question before we start.
Does it happen where somebody is typing and the minute you hit enter, if you will, then somebody else has already done the letter?
Yep. Okay. Other questions? What's the chat room? Well, whenever you guys are ready to begin, someone can
what
chat.
are we supposed to type for ABC?
A, B, C.
Oh, the letter, just put ABC?
Yeah, the letter.
Okay, thank you. Hey,
I'm not here to make it that difficult. We're already
well,
dealing with coronavirus, people.
thank
Let's
you,
keep it easy.
Because I have a lot of stuff going on with a lot of escrows and managing a lot. And I'm like, what does he want me to do?
Okay, Colleen, there's people chatting A here, so now no talking until we have repeated. So you have A to E. So though you have to restart, Dina, because there's no. There we go. We have two A's. There we go. Oh, now we have ABAA. We have ACD. That sounds like a band that I've been listening to. We have A and E. We have AF. We have ABB. We have AD. Maybe somebody should just type ADD. We have ABCC. We have ABCDEEFF. Jay, I have to remind you, you can only chat one letter at a time. We have AHI. Andrea and Jay, I'll have to remind you that you have to start over because A and H are not next to each other.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Accountability, Andrea. Accountability.
I've got a cat batting at me here. Ow!
I'm glad it's muted because the appropriate language is not coming out.
I'm going to remind you, this is being recorded. Colleen says yes. Okay, I'm gonna hold you right there for a second. So I'm actually going to give you this reminder for one piece, which is, if I haven't told you yet, I would like you to have what I call the doctor and patient mentality. The patient is what you're doing right now. You are in this team building challenge, right? The doctor in you, though, is to look over this and say, what dynamics are happening, right, with me and with my team? So you guys are currently a team right now. And so I'm just going to refresh the rules, or maybe see if somebody remembers. What's one rule right now that you're not using? Just feel free to signal me.
Following the order of people.
Okay. What order, Jay?
Somebody posted, Cesar posted, you have to do it in an order.
You did, Cesar? Cesar, say more.
Yes, I think everyone on private just have an order between us and just keep like the letters. It's gonna be easier because no one knows which who's next to put the letter. So that will be easier if we just have an order.
So Cesar, I'm just going to reshare my screen for just a second, right?
Yep.
If you remember this last rule, if you missed a letter, you as a group can talk until somebody chats A. But of course, in this group, just what was happening in the last, right? I didn't hear any talking or chatting, right? Is that people just kept going on and again. So what would you like to say to this group, Cesar?
Just to follow the order that we have. So if someone start, just keep going and put the letter that it's assigned to you and on your order. So.
But I can't see the order because my keyboard is in the way.
Oh, well, it's just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like the normal order. But when it's your turn, you just put the order, the letter that it's next.
Myrna, you're after me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we all in the same order on each other's screens though?
I don't think so.
No, but it's in the same order that I think I put to you on the chat. So as long as
I didn't get any chat about an order.
Hold on, Stacy.
I was gonna say, what about, yes, there's two Stacys.
Oh.
Stacey, I said it, with Stacy with an E and Stacy without an E. Hello.
Okay, so Stacy with the A can be after me, so she can be the last one.
Okay, so this is the other Stacy. I didn't get the chat either.
So the list that I'm seeing is Dinah, Myrna, Jay, Matt, Andrea, Colleen, Cesar.
And Stacy.
There's two Stacys, and then Gretchen is not in there either.
Okay, so we can go Gretchen at the end after Stacy with A.
There's also Stacy Kessel twice. There's only one of her on here, right? Or is that two people using the same login?
No, one is logged in by phone and one is logged in by computer. It's only one person though. Unless Stacy knows how to clone herself.
Not yet.
Are we going to send out a new list so we know where we go?
Yeah, give me a second. Okay, so I have Dina, and then Myrna, and then Jay, and then Matt, then Andrea, and then Colleen, and then Stacy. Stacy with the like Stacy, like just Stacy, and then me, and then Stacy Kesio. Is that correct? Okay. Hold on, I'm writing it down. Stacy. Okay, and then the last one missing is, I don't remember the last one, I'm sorry.
Is John part of this game? Okay.
No, I'm
Great.
not chatting.
Gretchen.
Oh, there's Matt in here now. Oh, you have Matt, sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I think,
Dina, you're first.
Okay, I'm going to start.
yeah.
Did you make sure you're
I-
chatting to
Dina,
everyone?
I didn't see it.
In the chat box, make sure that there's a little drop down that says say everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can still talk because no one's chat today. So Dina, I think they're making sure that you chat to everyone. So look at your drop down box in your chat window in case you're having a sidebar conversation.
Okay, I don't see a drop-down box in my chat window.
Oh, interesting. So you don't see anything that says, are you on your computer or your phone?
Computer.
So on the computer, do you see the two? What's the word to the right of two? T-O. Little
Oh,
drop
it says
down.
Cesar, yeah. Okay, I
Wow.
see. To everyone? Okay.
There
Got
you
it.
go. See, whoever was talking about training people who have never been on this environment before, these are very easy things to miss. A has started, so no talking, please. Continue. Bravo. Cesar, I want to see that. I want to see that victory dance again. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Now, of course, let's find out what we learned from that. What was that like? So if anyone wants to chime in here, again, use our same rules. If you either raise your hand or unmute and say your name. Who's got any observations of what was it like from your chair?
I actually felt more comfortable once I knew what the rules were.
And when did you learn the rules? When did you think you learned the rules?
Once they were typed out.
Perfect. Thank you, Jay. Who else? More comfortable after the rules were known.
I was not familiar with the Zoom application that everybody saw the same screen. As a matter of fact, right now, Jay and Myrna switched places. I don't know. I didn't think it was that stable.
So something too important to know about this environment, it was very easy to make an assumption that you're seeing, what I'm seeing is what you're seeing. But my screen is Dina, me, Jay, Cesar, and more, right? And then Matt. You probably don't have that order, so you can't rely on that. Even my participant list might be John, Myrna, Andrea, Colleen. You can't rely on that. And that actually was kind of important, right? If you just said, hey, just do it in the order that you see it. And then this is where I'm saying, you think teams have agreement and you don't. And you have to discover what these are. Dean, I think you had really two great examples. One was after someone private chats you, it defaults only to that person, so nobody could actually see you chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's a new feature that you learned, right, Dina?
Yes, yes.
And the key here now in this learning environment, right, when you're engaged, she's never going to forget. Okay, let's see, who else? Who else has any observations from their seat? Is that Colleen?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
You know, I used Zoom for the first time yesterday to get my whole family together all across the country, and I had no idea what the HELL I was doing for real. And this would have been very helpful yesterday. I mean, by the end, we kind of had it together, but this was awesome because I didn't know about the back chat, the private chat. And it's so funny is I kept thinking, well, it'd be easy if we just knew what our order was and could figure it out, but I couldn't remember what the rule was about talking.
So this is the other piece around here, which happens all the time in our team building programs, which is I ask questions, right? I say, does anybody have any questions about the rules? And everyone's like, no, man, I got it. I know what you're trying to do. And then you suddenly realize you're not using the most important rule, right? This is actually a great piece here too, which is you can only do so much over text or email. And this is why voice calls are so much better. And this is why video is so much better. Colleen, I have to admit to you that it was your turn and there was a big delay and you turned your camera off. And for me, my personal experience was going, oh my God, is Colleen there? Did she take off? Is she taking care of her son, right? What's going on? So I'm just telling you what our impressions are. This is why this camera is so important, right? We get all this feedback. Like Myrna's giving me a head shake right now. So that means I know she's agreeing with what's going on. I also know she's there and she's engaged, right? I know Andrea had to take off for a second. I'm like, oh, I think she's got to get a drink of water, but then she comes back in her chair. I can see all these things and it really helps me as the leader of this meeting to be able to do that. So let's see, what else did anybody learn anything during this time? And did anybody going to decide to do something different going forward based on this team building experience? Jay.
Well, Dina said it, and that was that if you're running a group, you think I'm going to let person in the first square talk, the second square talk, the third square talk, and on there, that's going to be changing. So it's dynamic, and you have to if you have a large group, you have to figure out another way to figure out the order of conversations.
Yep, and you got to make it flow smooth like butter. Otherwise, you get these awkwardy, jumpy, like silency and other kind of 5 people talking over each other. Dina, what did you get?
I wanted to say, especially I've noticed this with watching the news. I don't know if any of you watch the news lately, but they have different commentators, and they are in different rooms. And you can see that they do kind of talk over each other and all that. And even though we are seeing each other, we're still kind of looking at our keyboard, we're looking at the chat. we're missing a lot of the social cues that we normally have. And that makes it harder.
And if your team gets into a rhythm, you'll see, even with this small piece here, we're starting to develop a rhythm where a lot of people can be in the room, but we can talk and be effective, because the amount of times that we're talking over each other is actually very few. Who else has one other comment? Oh, wait, I'm gonna hold on, Jam, and see if I can get another comment from down below, which would be the other people who see. Cesar, I got to add this too. Matt, by the way, if you didn't, Cesar, if you didn't see the chat room, that Matt gave you a shout out. Matt, do you want to add on to anything else from your perspective?
No, it's just, it was interesting to see the age-old thing, whether we're in person or online, the like step up, step back opportunities. And Cesar, you stepped up. Thank you.
So I just want you to remind you of that, which is that one, virtual teams need leadership, right? And without it, they're a mess. And number two is just exactly what I said at the beginning. The same team challenges you had back at work are happening here on virtual. And like I said, some of them are just harder or just different. So you really just need to know that. We're getting to 12:55, so I'm going to close us down here. And thank you so much for going through that experience. Jade, you go ahead, and you got one comment.
Yeah, just one quick question. So when we're on here and you go down to video and you add the backdrop like Colleen has,
yep.
When you go into that mode of adding, say, a backdrop or a video, does that person's face disappear?
Sometimes it can depend upon what color is going on. And so you can see Colleen, like Colleen, hold up your hand, right? And sometimes her hands will disappear. If it's the same color, you'll see things. There's a lot of places now where it'll look at my backdrop, remember it, and only when there's a change in colors. By the way, here's a super cool side trick. You can take a picture of your camera, right, and use it as your backdrop. And my friend who's a facilitator actually does a magic trick with it, which is while he has them doing something, he switches his backdrop. And when he holds something up that's the same color, like his wall is white, it will disappear. So it'll be like visible here like a card. And then when he puts it outside of his frame, it'll actually disappear. So that's a little side trick. Like I said, we're getting close to the end here. I invite you to stay in afterwards if you have other questions. But let me tell you, I'm going to give you a little bit of a piece of here. So what I just showed you was an example of rhythm. When a team doesn't have rhythm, it's clunky, and you should now know what it feels like and looks like. It's frustrating. It's sometimes very humorous, Andrea. I love that. You're just laughing. But work doesn't happen. And so it's up for you, if you want to be leaders in your group, is to help establish that rhythm. Here are some easy ways to do that. Number one is start and end each meeting the same, right? So by starting and ending the same, people get that certainty that they're looking for. And they again, even if it's new for them, they'll get used to it. And if you just do it the same and end at every meeting, it gives you a stabilizing place for the times that you meet. And these check-ins can be shorter than what we did today. They could be longer. It's really up to your group. Find a rhythm for sharing and solving information. So in this case, we found a rhythm, which was Cesar verbally did it, and then finally somebody also chatted it, and then you had a rhythm. So that way you had a system for doing it. And this is where sharing your screen or whiteboards or other things, as your team moves into intermediate and advanced, you can find more complicated rhythms for sharing and solving. Next one is bring your culture online. So whatever your culture is. So I know some companies maybe have like a mascot, or sometimes you have a saying, or you all do something. So whatever it is, bring that culture online. And if you don't have that culture that fits online, make it. Make new culture so that your group is really starting to establish itself with that team bonding piece and have the same things. And this is all the different ways that your team can establish rhythm. Now, I was going to go on to the key piece, which is I think Jay was really saying about, I'm just going to show you a behind the scenes secret here, is that I have a participation map. You want to be a great leader? This is what I have. This is all the information you guys gave me during registration. Now I can actually see who logged in and who dropped off. I can see who's participating and maybe talking too much or not talking at all. And these are all the pieces. And so this is a real incredible tool for you as an online facilitator to really make sure that everyone's engaged. So like, for instance, if I know or I haven't marked that these people haven't talked for a little while, I'll soon check in with them. And really hard is like this, Gretchen, look, can you just unmute for a second? Did you have any observations from that last exercise? And now she's scrambling for a mute button. Bueller, anyone? Bueller. I'm glad I have 80s people here with us. We'll see if Gretchen comes back. See, now that's the part I don't know. You know, last time somebody called in, he said he was taking a bicycle ride across I-90, one of our freeways here in the area. So he is going to have a hard time chatting. Anyways, I do believe, oh, here comes Gretchen in the chat window. And she said, oh, thanks, John. Have to run. Good luck, everyone. So everyone say bye, Gretchen.
Bye, Gretchen.
Bye, Gretchen.
So what I'm trying to share with you, though, is I use a participation map, and is one of my key secrets to make sure that people are engaged. And, you know, I do a lot of diversity and inclusion work. And what I'm always thinking about is how can I make sure that you feel engaged? And if you have a smaller meeting, anywhere between 2 and 20, you can make sure that every single person feels engaged during this time. So that leads me to my last piece here is results. Let me just tell you that you guys clocked in with a time of 2 minutes and 34 seconds for chat A to Z. Give yourself a round of applause. So if you don't know why I'm doing this, for those who don't know sign language, this is really useful online. If you don't want to unmute, if you just shake your hands above your head, this is actually applause in sign language. People who are using sign language will appreciate you if you use it. But your results is 2 minutes, 34 seconds. I think that squarely puts you in 3rd place out of my last 9 groups. 3rd place. So very well done, Cesar. Thank you for the leadership associated with that. Oh, and also I think it was Jay chatted the list too. That was, I got to tell you personally, Jay, I was lost until you chatted that list. And then because I couldn't, even auditorially, I couldn't keep up. So things to think about and remember is really sometimes slowing down to make sure you're understood, and communicating in different ways until you, and finding ways to check in to make sure everyone's bought on. In one of my classes, somebody came in and somebody said the whole thing of like how we're going to do it. And somebody came in and she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I just got a phone call and my dog was here and my kid walked in. I'm totally lost. Can you help me? And so she wasn't yet. And so they had to take time to sync her up, but it would have helped because it really helped because if they would have started without her being synced up, they would have failed and had to do it again. Anyways, those are the results. My results, I hope for you, is that you have successful online meetings, that you have the ability to get work done under challenging conditions, that you are helping and you're leading your company. You know, now's a great time too, even if you're not in a position of leadership, from any position, if you can lead online, I highly believe that you can get noticed as a leader. And most importantly is develop new ways to really help. There's so many possibilities. We're running happy hours, we're running karaoke, I'm running game nights, but I'm also running these classes that have become very successful. We've been trying to do this for 20 years and now people are suddenly ready. So those are the results that we have. So again, my solution here, let's see what kind of retention you have. You can unmute your mic. What does the G stand for?
Goals.
Yay, thank you for the goals. I think that was Stacy. So everyone but not Stacy, what is the next R?
Rules.
Rules, very good. Next one is, what's the next R?
Rhythm.
Rhythm. Oh, my, I actually got 2 voices that time. That's fantastic. And the last R is?
Results.
Results. Thank you, Andrea, for being first. All right, here we go. So those are that's the solution. I just want to share you a great story here in Canlis. I really believe, and thank you again for staying for a few minutes while we finish up here. I believe those who are going to succeed during coronavirus are those who adapt the fastest. I'd like to close with this story, which is Canlis is a fine dining restaurant in Seattle. And March 6th, within a week of our first announcement, they redesigned their entire business plan. They said, times are changing and so are we for now. We're shutting down our dining room and we're bringing the food out to you. Fine dining is not what Seattle needs right now. Instead, this is one idea for safely creating jobs for our employees while serving as much of our city as we can. We got this, Seattle, the Canlis family. This is a 3-generation restaurant known for some of the best dining in the city. And kudos to them for having the foresight to do this. They created a bagel shed. You can drive through between 8 and 11, get bagels, spreads, breakfast sandwiches, coffee. At lunch, they have a drive-through. You can get burger, fries, veggie milk, Canlis salad, ice cream sandwich. And check this out. You can call and get a home-cooked dinner and a bottle of wine. You had me at a bottle of wine. Delivered to your doorstep. And let me just show you, 4 days ago, here is the results of what they did. They have a line down the street. Look, hopefully most people here are social distancing. They have drive-throughs. They're playing music. They're making it fun, but you're getting a great meal. You're supporting a restaurant and they're keeping their valuable employees employed. And so kudos to Canlis. I use this story because Canlis is really, I know the owners, they're a great restaurant and they care. They care about the city. When the Duck had an accident near their restaurant, it was literally half a block down from there. They shut the whole fine dining restaurant. We're talking $100 to $300 a plate. And all they did was serve first responders. So Canlis, great restaurant. I hope that you have the ability to adapt and that you share a story with me like that. I've only got one ask. If you got value from this, please help others and share this website, geoteaming.com/virtual team building. I'm grateful for everyone who has already shared it. We have 5 sold out classes this week. And the last thing that we're going to do is what's called last word. If you need to drop off, I totally understand, so you can do that. But if you'd like to stay on, I'm just going to go through each person who's still here and just answer this question. What did you get from today? What did you get from your 1 hour investment today? So here we go. Who would like to go first? Let's go to Cesar. Go ahead, Cesar.
Well, the first thing I think is to know different people from different businesses and different areas. So that was cool. And the other thing is more tools like this Zoom site to put my meetings here instead of Skyping so I can see everyone. I had kind of a little game with the team last Friday. It was like a mimic game. So I put some papers, names on the glasses, and I dragged the name of them, and I made it to act the movie, so the others can just guess the movie. So that was fun, and that will keep them engaged. So.
Cesar, thank you so much, and gracias from Mexico. I'm going to give you one. If you're going to go back and replay the same game with your group next week, here's how you flip it on its head. I go to a lot of conferences, and someone gave this to me. It's called reverse charades, and so everybody else except one person acts out. So every window except for one is trying to get this person to say whatever is on there. It engages everybody else because you basically have 8 windows of people trying to do it instead of everyone else guessing. Thank you so much, Cesar, for tuning in. I hope to see you more online. By the way, side note, you're all going to get an invitation to Virtual Team Building 2. It's every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Now that you have the basics, we take 90 minutes and we play as many games as possible, and some of you will actually lead them. So I look forward to seeing some of you online if you want to continue further. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Dina. Oh, Dina, you're on mute. There you go.
Like Cesar said, the value of the chat, I didn't realize that. I just kind of thought it was a little bit annoying at first, but I see now that it really does have some purpose. And also just getting used to the idea of trying to pick up the visual cues to what the other people are saying, and they're, like you said, nodding or raising their hands, that sort of thing.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dina, and thank you for being at our amazing libraries across the country. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Andrea.
I've done a couple of Zoom meetings, and one of them was with my family, which was the most chaotic. So I like the idea. I mean, not that it didn't really occur to me, but I guess I never really put any effort into the idea of really establishing the rules and like guidelines kind of at the beginning, so that you don't always have people talking over each other. And also, I too haven't really ever used the chat function very effectively. So I think that now I kind of think about it a little bit differently.
Excellent. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with chat and have sidebars, and that keeps people engaged. I know I watch a lot of webinars, and if there's not a chat window, it's quite often I'm off on email. And for you as a leader, it's valuable time to be here online, right? So engage them as much as possible. Thank you so much, Andrea. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Let's go to Colleen and then Jay. Yeah, go ahead, Colleen.
This was amazing, especially for me. It's all new. Zoom, I didn't even really know what Zoom was until the pandemic. And then, of course, we have to adapt. I love the analogy of that restaurant. And for me, too, we ordered, we can't do showings. We can't do open house. We can't do showings. And especially John's the broker of our office. We have 400 agents that are looking to him to figure out what to do and how to navigate and especially protect our clients and ourselves from lawsuits and keep everyone alive. And just there's a lot going. And we ordered a camera that does virtual tours, a Matterport camera, and we just did it. We have to innovate, or we are going to go. I have clients who have to sell their houses, like because of divorce or financial problems or a death in their family, or their family's sick and they have to move to be closer to take care of them, and they cannot not sell their house because of a pandemic. And so we're having to make adjustments to meet the needs of our clients during this time. So it's very important, the Zoom and all this stuff.
Thank you, Colleen. You remind us that real estate is one of those things when we have big life changes, right? Marriage, divorce, medical, family, and it's just important, and it's hard to get things done in the past way. So again, those who are going to succeed are those who are going to adapt. And if you stay on, Colleen, I'll give you one or two more suggestions. I think Matt is the last word.
Yeah, I really appreciated the tip about thinking about the rhythm. And I'm already thinking not only about how to do that in the meeting, but before the meeting. So with agendas or prep materials to get everybody ready in an explicit way for how we'll do the rhythm of the meeting.
Matt, thank you. That's brilliant. Again, I have a client potentially who's going to call me in to help change a 4-day conference. All right. And you can't Zoom for 8 hours a day effectively. It is wicked hard. So we're talking about, the keynote presentations professionally filmed. They have the budget to do this, right? And consume all this stuff before you get online so we can do what's most important here. Like, it's going to assume that you already watched all that stuff, so we can come here and a facilitator can lead a conversation where this information is going to be really important for this company. It's all around how they set payroll for the rest of the world, right? Kind of important. They get the lessons that they want to teach here. So thank you so much for that, Matt. Rhythm, I hope you remember that. This is what's great about you guys spending the little bit of time here, is to give you these idea sets, give it a framework so that you can look about how you can have success. Most of all, I appreciate each of you. Thank you for being here and investing a little bit of your time. Within a day or two, you're going to get a recap. You'll have a video recap, a link to the chat, and some other resources that I've been giving some other classes. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everybody.
You're awesome, dude.
Thanks, Colleen.